So before we start off building out our view or presentation layer, there's a couple things we will double check. As we can see here, first off, I've kind of did a little bit of house cleaning on my Liferay Developer Studio, cleared out some things, cleared my console as well. Over in my instance of Liferay, I've removed all of the applications from my page just to make life a little bit easier for the upcoming exercise. On top of that, if you have any doubts or if you run into any issues, do remember that we do have the solutions there available for you, so you can integrate the solution into your environment, so you can start off with a place that you know will work, or at least we know will work. So one of the things that we're going to take care of that we needed to from the previous exercise is over in the gradebook service. Here within the gradebook service, I did make a mistake over in the service.xml. Under our exceptions, it should be submission validation. So make sure you make that change, rerun service builder, and then you'll be good to go. So again, from the previous exercise, I made a small mistake over here in the service.xml. Right? We need to change the exceptions to assignment and submission validation. So again, make sure to do that before progressing on. But if you've already done those things, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to be creating our Liferay module project, and we talked about how in order to create the view or the presentation layer within Liferay, we're going to be using a portlet component. So let's first start off by creating that portlet component using one of the templates that we have with Liferay Workspace. So head up to File. So File, New, Liferay Module Project. Once we're here, let's go ahead and start off by naming the project Gradebook-Web. Right? The -web signifies in the Liferay world that this is going to be the view or the presentation aspect of the application. We're going to change the default location, right? We want to place this with the rest of our gradebook module projects. So that's in the gradebook folder. So after modules, we'll then type gradebook, and we'll be good there. Make sure the build type is still Gradle. Liferay version is also still 7.1. And then here under project template, keeping it the same as MVC portlet. Once you confirm those things, go ahead and click next. So I'll click next on my end. And the first thing we're going to do is name our component. So we're going to keep it simple. We're going to call it gradebook. Make sure to keep that B lowercase. And then next up, we're going to be giving our package name. So where's this component going to be? So we're going to place it over in com Liferay training gradebook web. If there were some additional attributes, some additional properties that we wanted to add, we could, but the template does give us a bunch of different defaults. Let's go ahead and just work with that for the time being. So gradebook, com Liferay training, gradebook web, and then we're going to click finish. Right, so we'll wait a few moments here as Liferay Developer Studio creates our gradebook web. And once it creates it, we'll take a look at the anatomy of it. Right, again, feel free to pause. Again, my computer might be a little bit faster than yours, right? Or yours is faster than mine. In any case, once the project has been created and revealed, let's just take a peek around. So opening up the gradebook web, we have the source main Java, and we have two packages here. The first one contains the name of the portlet under a class called gradebook portlet keys. Second package has the portlet component itself. Down here in the source main resources, under meta-inf resources, we also have two JSPs. init.jsp contains all of the JSP-based dependencies. View.jsp is the default JSP. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to change the name of our portlet. So to do that, this is going to be over here in gradebook portlet keys. Let's head over there. And a lot of names within Liferay are abstracted out into classes, into constants within the class. So in Liferay convention, our constants are going to be all uppercase. So that's going to be the first change we're going to make. So go ahead, double click gradebook right here, the one right after string. We'll right click it, head down to refactor, and then rename. We'll go ahead and rename it to gradebook in all capital letters, and then we'll hit enter. Once we do, Liferay Developer Studio is going to look for any references of gradebook in its old form and change it to its new form. So this is why we took the approach that we did. The next thing we're going to do is we're also going to change the name of the portlet itself. So gradebook is all fine and dandy, but following Liferay convention, one of the things that we do is we provide a fully qualified name. So what we'll do is we'll call this com underscore Liferay underscore training underscore gradebook underscore portlet underscore gradebook portlet, like so. All right, so this is going to be the name of our portlet. Again, technically you can call it whatever you want, but we typically use its fully qualified name referencing the portlet component. Next up, let's go ahead and head over to gradebook portlet just really quick. We're going to take a peek over there. So here in the gradebook portlet, you see a bunch of properties already set. We can change a couple of them here. The first one is going to be where is our gradebook portlet going to be within the add menu or within that widget menu. So instead of putting it in the sample category, we're going to be creating a new one called category.training. So we'll get rid of that sample portion and we'll call it category.training. The next property here is instanceable. So what instanceable means is how many times are we able to add an instance of a portlet to a page. So when set to true, you're able to add this more than once. When set to false, you can only add the portlet once per page. So in this situation, we'll change the value from true to false so that you're only able to add this application once to a specific page. Right, make sure to save along the way. And for the most part, this is enough to actually see something. Let's go ahead and deploy our gradebook web. So we'll drag and drop our gradebook web into the server like so. This is the hot deploy, and this will be kind of like a continuous integration, quote unquote. So every time we make a change, right, it'll then see the update. So you'll see right off the bat, we do have an error. This error is going to be because of my dependencies over in my build.gradle. So what I'm going to do is head down to build.gradle. If you do not have an error, you're okay. You don't need to worry about this portion. But again, I'm working in beta, so this may pose a couple of issues. So I'm going to head down here to build.gradle. And I'll double click my build.gradle to make my tab a little bit bigger. So here in build.gradle, I'm going to change my portal kernel. So getting rid of that whole line except the compile only. We're going to be compiling files, even though it's a singular file. We're going to go up 3 levels into the bundles folder, Tomcat 9.0.6. Inside of the lib ext folder, we're going to bring in our portal kernel jar file. We're going to do the same thing with our portlet API as well. Let's shortcut this a little bit. I'll copy from files down to /ext, and then we'll paste over this part here in my JavaX portlet. So I'll go ahead and delete that, paste, right? And then we are looking for the portlet API, which is the portlet jar, closing the quote and my parentheses, and then save the file. So go ahead and do that real quick. Right, you'll see, let's take a look at my, So my module, my bundle is now started. Again, I always like to be in the habit of performing my Gradle refresh, but we see that it's technically already done. But this is more so my habit here. When I typically do this, I always use the Gradle task deploy. But since we have this hot deploy or quote unquote continuous integration kind of going on, we generally don't have to, but I think it's a very good practice just in case. All right, so we're good to go there. Console lets me know that my gradebook web has started. Let's go ahead and place it on our page. So let's head back into our instance of Liferay. If you need to sign in, go ahead and sign in. This is one of the few situations that I'm already signed in. So once you're signed in, heading over to the plus or the add button. Right? Oh, looks like I need to sign in here. So silly me. So I'm going to refresh the page so I can sign back in. Right, test. And then test. I already have the application on the page. So very good.